Mic check. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Good Friday afternoon. Good Friday evening for some of y'all. Just want to come through, and we've been through 5 games so far. Want to kind of give a numerical update about where we are as a team and kind of show that everything's not all bad, even though it seems like, a lot of things have gone left, so to speak, and that, the team is not going in the direction that we want them to. And on some fronts, that is the case. Offensively, we're not in tune to where we'd hope to be. That don't mean we're not going to get where we all want them to go. It's just not where we want them to be at the moment. Now, we are 3-2, which is not a bad record. Not a bad record. And again, I talked about this earlier in the week. I look at the season in quadrants. First quadrant, we were 3-1. Starting off the second quadrant, we're 0-1. So if we win these next 3 games, I'm still cool with that. That'll put us at 6-2. There's that one extra game floating in there since the owners decided to add an extra game. Don't really know how that's gonna go. That's really messing up my equation. But what I want to do is just kind of give a numerical stat sheet about where we at, and so you can kind of see that we're not as bad off statistically as we seem, even though it seems like we are. And I will start on the defensive side because we know the defense has been playing lights out. They've been doing what they need to do on all fronts. They've been playing good defense. The offense haven't been helping them. They've been, giving up field goals and whatnot. We've lost because we couldn't score, even though the other offenses have scored on us. But we've lost points because we couldn't score and stay on the field. I'm looking for something. Hold on one second. Yeah, we've lost points. We've lost games because we couldn't score points and stay on the field. But let's go through these numbers statistically, defensively, and you can kind of get an idea of where we're at and kind of see where we're at. Some numbers may shock you. Some numbers may not shock you. But let's go with total defense, and this is as far as yards. Total defense as far as yards. Now we're second. We're second to the Cleveland Browns in yards. 266.4. And it's not bad. Not bad. But the gap between first and second is crazy. Cleveland is first with 196.8. We're second. 70 points behind with 166.4. San Francisco is third, 0.4 points behind us. But Cleveland is defensively, Cleveland is giving up 196.8 yards per game, and we are second with 266. San Francisco is third with 266.8. So the gap between first and second is 70 yards, which is crazy. Let's go over here to yards per play. Yards per play, we're second. Cleveland is 3.8. Now, granted, Cleveland played one less game than us. Cleveland has played one less game than us. But that total yards per game shouldn't be that big of a difference. Shouldn't be. That's why it's per game. But yards per play. Excuse me. Cleveland has given up 3.80 yards per play. We're second at 3.88.
Donations.
Coach, I appreciate you, GOAT.
Appreciate you, Living Legend, dropping the 5 and making the tip jar rattle. I appreciate it. Appreciate it big time, Living Legend. Rushing yards per game. Going over to rushing yards per game. Now, we dropped down to 7th. We give up 91.4 rushing yards per game. Philadelphia is first. They give up 61.2. San Francisco is second with 64.2. I'm sorry, Philadelphia is first with 61.2. San Francisco is second with 64.2. We're 7th at 91.4, which that ain't bad. We give less than 100 yards per game. We can deal with that. Go over to per play. Per play, we're 6th, 3.57. Not bad. So pretty much every rushing yard we give up 3.5 yards. Now, Honestly, I'd like to be right around the 3 yard mark, because that means you can't run it on us 4 straight times to get a first down. But ain't very many teams under 3. There are 15 teams under 3. I'm sorry, no, there are no teams under 3. There are 15 teams under 4. So no team is under 3. So that's the league average is probably anywhere from 12 to, I would say, 22, and we're right in the middle of that. We're sitting at what? We're at 3.57, which is good, because you give up some burst plays, and then you also have some plays where they don't get much of nothing. So it's not bad. We're six in that category. All right, let's go over here to passing yards per game. We're third, which is great. We're third in passing yards per game. We give up 175 yards per game. It's not bad, being that we've had all kinds of problems on the back end. We've had all kinds of back end problems. Marlon's first game was last week. Brandon Stevens has been probably our most what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent cornerback. 175 yards per game. Number 1 is Cleveland with 125 yards. We're number 3 with 175. So that's a legit number.
Donations.
That's a legit number.
Donation.
Couldn't think of nothing slick to say.
I appreciate the 5, Bazel. He said couldn't think of nothing slick to say. So appreciate the 5 and appreciate making the tip jar router. I appreciate it. Yards per play. As far as passing yards per play, we are first. We are first in passing yards per play at 4.44, which is good, again, for all the reasons I just mentioned. Our back end has not been great. Marcus Williams was out for a while. Marlowe, again, played his first game last week. We are first in passing yards per play. 4.44, which is great. What up, Jose or B? Whichever one it is. Probably Jose or B. I don't know which one it is. What's up, guys? Interception rate. Now, this is where we kind of fall off at, because we just don't catch picks. We'll knock balls down. We'll have some PDs. We just don't catch picks. We're first in passing yards defended. We are 16th in interception rate at 2.03. 16th. We need to be higher than that. Buffalo is first at 5.44%. We are 16th. We gotta get our hands on the ball and catch it, not knock it down. All right, sack per pass attempt. Sacks per pass attempt. Now there's a huge debate going back and forth in Ravens Reddit and Twitter and group chats when it comes to pressures versus sacks. Now we all know sacks is the creme de la creme when it comes to pass rushers. And then there are a lot of people out there that wants to discredit pressures because, frankly, they aren't sacks. Well, pressures aren't sacks. But they do help with getting the quarterback's timing off. They do force the quarterback to get out of the pocket. They do help with rushing the quarterback and producing errant throws. But sacks shut down the play. Which, as much as we love pressures and love a guy that can get pressures, a guy like Lamar can still get out of pressures, or Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts can get out of pressures and still make throws down the field, and they end up being good plays for the offense. Whereas when you find a guy that can get sacks, the play is over. The play is over. So I see both sides that want guys that can produce sacks, whereas we have guys that can get some pressures but not getting sacks. I understand both sides of the argument, but we need sacks. We need some sacks. And we don't, like I'm saying, we don't. We need to be able to get sacks without having to rely on Queen, Roquan, Kyle Hamilton to get sacks. We need some defensive linemen / outside linebackers to get sacks. All right, with that being said, we are 12th in sacks per pass attempt. Buffalo's first at 14. Matter of fact, Buffalo's first in interception rate and sacks per pass attempt. And Von Miller just got back. So what's that going to say for them once he get back and in the groove of things? Buffalo's first in sacks per pass attempt at 14.29, and the Ravens are ninth at 9.14. Now, we do have, if I'm not mistaken, and y'all check me in the chat box, I think we have 18 sacks in 5 games. I think that's the number. We have 18 sacks in 5 games. I think that's the number we have, if I'm not mistaken. All right, first downs a game. We are 5th. We've only given up 17.2 first downs per game, which is a good number. And I know back when I was doing game plans, my goal would be to get 20 for high school, not college or pro. My goal would be for 20. And if you can get 20 in a high school game, you pretty much dominated the clock. You pretty much dominated the play clock if you can get 20 first downs. So I don't know what that number would translate into NFL because the game's longer. But I know in high school, if you can get 20 first downs, you kind of dominated the clock. All right. Third down percentage. Let's see. We are 19th. Yeah, we need to be better than that. 40%. People converting third down percentage on us at 40%. That's too close to 50. That's too close to 50. Nah, Von just didn't get paid. He been hurt. That's why he hadn't played. He been hurt. Fourth down percentage. We are 13th at 42.8%. And a lot of those fourth downs are going to be like your fourth and short. So it's kind of tough to stop that tush push like what the Eagles do and half of America doing right now. It didn't even flood it down all the way down to college and probably in some high school too. I got a real feeling that play is going to be outlawed here soon in football because it's really tough to stop, especially the way they get everybody in tight like that. Ain't much you can really do about that besides get somebody hurt. As I got a feeling that if not next year, the year after next, that tush push is going to be discontinued in football. And let's go over to points per game. Points per game. We give up 15 a game, which is third, which ain't bad. The Grocers, that's not bad. The Grocers doing their job. They give up 15 points per game. San Francisco is first at 13.6. I didn't expect to see this name up there. Kansas City is second. Kansas City is second at 14.7. Then you have a tie at third with us and Cleveland at 15 apiece. And then New Orleans Saints is fifth at 15.2. So, and then these last two defensive ranks, point differential, 6.8. We're eighth at 6.8. And yards differential, we're seventh at 68.6. 68.6. Now let's go to the offensive side. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Look at some numbers over there. Now that's where all the drama finna pop off at. This is where all the drama finna pop off at on the offensive side of the ball. Because, we ain't been scoring 70 points like we think we should. Which, I think we at least should be scoring 40, but, who am I? All right, total yards per game. This is just yards per game. We're 13th. 13th. Miami's first with 513 yards per game. Oh, my God. I'm going to put this in perspective for a minute. Put this in perspective. Miami's first with 513 yards per game. Philadelphia is second. And we all know how good Philadelphia is. Philadelphia is second with 404. That's 109 yards less than Miami, which is crazy. Miami's first at 513.6 yards per game. Philadelphia is second at 404. That's a 109 yard difference between first and second place in NFL in yards per game. Crazy. Baltimore is 13th at 335. 335 even. It's crazy what Miami's doing down there. Crazy. And then you think with all that speed, yes, 513. Yes, 513. Yes. 513. Yes. You think with all that speed, it's passing. It is not passing. Even though they are number one in passing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just give you Miami stuff. Before I get to Baltimore, I'm gonna just give you Miami because it's gonna be talking a lot about Miami here. Miami, number one yards per play. Number one, I just said yards per play. Number one rushing per game. Number one rushing per play. Number one passing per game. Number one passing per play. So I just wanted to run a clean sweep of the Dolphins and get them out the way. Dolphins is number one in every offensive category to start off with. So we ain't got to keep talking about them. The Dolphins are number one. All right, back to the Ravens. So total yards per game, the Ravens 13. Let's go over the yards per play. We dropped down from 13 to 16. 5.2. 5.2. Now, the number one team, and we all know who the number one team is, Dolphins, 8.31. 8.31. We're 16, which is the middle of the pack. 3 yards difference. Now, it don't seem like much. What's 3 yards? 3 yards ain't a lot. 3 yards times 70 plays. That's about 200 yards. Hence, 513, 335. Makes a difference. Makes a difference. Now, rushing yards per game. We're fourth. I told you Miami's number one. Philadelphia's number 2 with 164. San Francisco's number 3 with 156. And we're fourth at 146. That's rushing yards per game. As far as per play, we're ninth at 4.45. And there is a boatload of teams that have 4 something as their rushing yards per play. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 17 teams, more than half the NFL, that have 4 point something as their rushing yards per play. And that range goes from 4.03 by the Carolina Panthers up to 4.93 from the Denver Broncos. And Baltimore sits at 4.45. So more than half the NFL has 4 point something for their rushing yards per play. That's their middle ground. So 4 something is pretty much the NFL average. And above the NFL average, the Jets have 5.4. Arizona have 5.47. And Miami, 6.8. So again, still talking about Miami. Let's go over the passing yards per game. Miami's number 1, 327 yards per game. The Ravens, where we thought we would have the biggest improvement, were all the way down at 26. Last year we were toward the bottom in this category. This year we're toward the bottom in this category. This is where we have to find the problem. Now, last year, who's number 2 and 3 in what, Jose? And I'll tell you. Who's number 2 and 3 in which category, and I'll go back and tell you. Last year, when it comes to passing, we were right in this area somewhere last year, and we all thought, everybody thought, when I say this, and if you say you didn't, you're lying. Everybody thought the problem was Greg Roman. Everybody thought the problem was Greg Roman. Everybody. And if you didn't, you're a bold-faced lie. Rushing. Let's see. Rushing per play. Number 2 is, let me see, I'll tell you right quick. Arizona, 5.47. And the Jets is 5.40. Arizona's 2. The Jets is 3, Jose. That's where we at. All right. Now, back to the passing. If you would have thought Greg Roman was a problem, because I did too. I thought Greg Roman was the problem. Greg Roman's gone now. Todd Monken's in. Lamar's still here. Wide receiver room's different. Prochet's gone. Y'all can't blame him no more. What's the issue? Is it the scheme? The scheme is taking a little bit long to evolve, or what? Because I gave him the first four as to me. This is my 2 cents. I gave him the first four as a buffer to figure it out and to find their footing. Week 5 to me was when you should start to put stuff together and start seeing an incline in production. That don't necessarily mean you're gonna win the game, but you start looking better as an offensive unit. I didn't see that in week 5. Sunday morning, I need to see a better looking offensive unit. That don't mean you're gonna go out there and score 70 points. I just need to see some fluidity in what you're doing. It needs to look like an offense that has some continuity to it. That's what it needs to look like. It needs to look like something. It doesn't need to look like a bunch of discombobulation. So that's what I gave. But we'll see. Right now we're at 26, which is horrible. Now, passing yards per play, we're at 13. We up half the spots. I don't know how. We're at 6.61. As far as passing yards per game, we're at 189 at 26. But passing yards per play, we're at 6.16, which to me says we don't throw it that much again still. We don't throw it that much again, which is how we jumped up half the spots. So, we'll see. All right, our interception rate, which means how much, how many interceptions we throw based off how much we throw. We're 8th, which is good. 1.47. No, sorry, 1.40. We're 8th at that, 1.40. And which is crazy. The best team in the league at that, the Houston Texans. Because during C.J. Stroud hadn't threw a pick yet. C.J. Stroud hadn't threw a pick yet. And then San Francisco, I don't think Brock Purdy's threw one either because they down here at 0% too. Houston Texans and San Francisco 49ers. I know C.J. Stroud hadn't thrown an interception, so I'm assuming somebody for the 49ers haven't thrown one either. That's what I'm assuming. All right, sacks per attempt. This ain't good, fellas and ladies. This ain't good. We're 27th in sacks per pass attempt. 27th. We are 5 from the bottom at 10.49%. We are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're the 6th most sacked quarterback, whether it be Lamar or Snoop. The 6th most sacked quarterback per pass attempt. It's crazy. That ain't good. That ain't good for your O-line. That's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Not a good look at all. Not a good look. Let me give y'all likes. We still got our likes going. We got 29 people in here. We got more than 29 people, but we got our 29 likes. So let me give you 25 tally points. Let me get a little break in action real quick. Give you your points. Add that up. Confirm. All right. Back to the business at hand. Get my chat box back up. All right. Appreciate it. All right. First downs per game. We are tied at 15th with 19.8. We're tied with Atlanta with that one. Third down percentage, which I talked about that earlier in the week. A lot of y'all didn't see it, but you can go back and watch it. Third down percentage, we're 8th, which is not bad. Not bad. There's 45.07%. Fourth down percentage, which is kind of misleading because a lot of fourth down stuff is a lot of fourth down stuff is a lot of tush push type stuff. So we don't even worry about that. But average time of possession, which y'all know how I feel about time of possession. And we normally, when we're good, we dominate time of possession. I mean, absolutely dominate it. Right now, we are 14th. We are 14th when it comes to time of possession. We are 14th. And we should be higher than that. When we in the upper echelons in time possession, we kick butt and take names. And a lot of times our quarterback don't play the fourth quarter. That's normally where we at. And then finish this off with points per game. We're scoring 21.8 points per game, which is not enough. And I know our defense is good, and our defense is not. Our defense is only giving up what I said, 15. Let me go back over here to defense real quick. Let me go to defense real quick. This difference per here we go, points per game for defense. Where I'm at. Defense is only giving up 15 points per game, and we're scoring 21 points per game. So that means it's a 6.8 difference. But still, at some point, the defense is gonna give up points, and we need to be around 30. We got enough on offense that we should be around 30. Definitely should be around 30. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I'm gonna give you a little bit of player stuff, and then I'm gonna be up out of here. So as far as individual player wise, and then we're gonna get kind of wrap this thing on up. Roquan Smith is leading the team with tackles. He has 54. Sack wise, Matabike and Queen is leading the team. Matabike has 2.5. Queen has 2.5. No, that can't be right because Kyle got 3. No, matter of fact, here it is right there. Kyle's leading the team with 3 sacks. My bad. Kyle's leading the team with 3 sacks. Tackle for losses. Make sure I say it right because I skipped all over Kyle just a minute. Tackle for losses. Pat Queen 4. Kyle Hamilton 4. Quarterback hurries. Pat Queen 4. Kyle Hamilton 4. Interceptions. Geno Stone 2. Passes defended. Roquan 4. Brandon Stevens 4. Ronald Darby 4. I think I got that right. Let me see. What's this? I got that right. Now, offensively, see if I got some offensive stuff over here. They don't really like putting offensive stuff on this side. All right, here we go. Offensively, rushing wise, Lamar has 265 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns. Gus has 241. Justice Hill has 115. Melvin Gordon has 53. J.K. has 22. Duvernay has 15. Zay has 11. Snoop has 8. And Kenyon Drake has 1 carry. 1 carry. Receiving. Zay has, I think Zay leading the team with 40.
Donation.
So the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Jets are ahead of us in rushing without using their QBs?
Yes, Jose. The Dolphins, Cardinals, and the Jets are ahead of us in rushing without using their QB. That is exactly right, Jose. Appreciate the 5, Jose. He said the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Jets are ahead of us without using their QB, and he is 100% correct. 100%. Zay Flowers leading the team in catches with 40. No, sorry, with 29. That's 40 targets. He has 29 catches. Andrews has 20. Aguilar has 14. Bateman has 8. Justice Hill has 7. Beckham has 7. Likely has 3. Gordon has 3. Duvernay has 2. Gus has 2. Dobbins has 2. Drake has 2. Pat Ricard has 1. And Kolar has 1 target. As far as yardage, I think Zay has the most yardage, which he does with 317. Andrews with 225. Aguilar with 170. And that's the only other person over 100 yards. And let's look at Lamar's passing numbers, and that'll wrap us up. Lamar is 143 attempts, 100 completions, 1,030 yards on the dot. So what? So if we try to project, and we've played 5 games, and they have what 17 or 18? Have 18 games, is that right? 17 games, 18 games. So let's say he'll be right around 3,300 maybe. Is that kind of about right as far as projections? If he stay on this path, it'll be right around 3,300. We'll see. His completion percentage is 69.9, which is pretty high. This last game versus Pittsburgh was the only game he wasn't at 70%. Houston, he was 77.3. Cincinnati, he was 72.7. The Colts, he was 71. Cleveland, he was 78.9. Pittsburgh, he was 57.9. But that was with 9 drops. That was with 9 drops. So that shouldn't be 57.9. Now again, that's with 9 drops. So that's what we at, man. That's the state of the franchise, numerically. And we're not as bad as we are. Our situational football has to get better. And I was saving that last statement for the end. Numerically, we're fine. Our situational football just has to get better. And that's all around, from Harbaugh to the players. Situational football has to get better. Situational play calling, situational handling of timeouts, situational handling of time itself. All of that has to get better, and hopefully it will start to get better right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern time for me. I don't know what time zone they on over in London, but 9:30 our time we start to right the ship and get on a nice little run. We need to run off about 8 straight. We run off about 8 straight. I feel real good about our chances and whatnot. So hey, I appreciate you guys, man. It's a Friday afternoon. It's about 63 of y'all here. So hit that like button for me, and maybe I can give you some more tally points before we get up out of here. And that's our numerical stance of where we are as a team, man. So thank you. And I'll see y'all tomorrow with something. Well, not what's tomorrow, Saturday? No, I'll see y'all Sunday morning, man. Make sure y'all join the watch party and come through and kick it with me, man, so we can watch this dub together. Peace, y'all. Peace and love.